Vince Russo? The same Vince Russo who booked himself and David Arquette winning the WCW Championship.
We know where that went. Which lets you know that he doesn't know how to book. Really does think the championships are props.
Also, the same guy who had Raw outdrawing NFL football when he was the head writer.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. Amen?
Burger Queen Dowdrop. How does that Kool-Aid taste? According to several sources, for every one good idea, he had 5 bad ones. And once he had no filter, what happened? What happened? Vince Russo's incompetence is the only thing Bret Hart and Bill Goldberg can agree on.
D.Carpenter7519, send those sources, please, with those sources having clear facts. And what's up with Russo just getting negativity? When it's ABT bad things, he gets all the hate. But when it's about good things, there comes the excuses. Like he was not alone in writing the good ones, but he had the bad ones. And when Russo went to WCW, the ratings increased by a full point from October to November, December. And then in January, Bret and Goldberg both went out of action, destroying any chance of a comeback for WCW. And not to forget the insane politics in WCW going on, and the pole matches, etc. That started to happen in his second stint, along with Bischoff. So logically, Bischoff also agreed to do the pole matches. Not to forget there was no chance for WCW to come back by that point. So Russo and Bischoff were basically trying everything to have a hook.
Exactly, bruh. Vincent is just a piss baby.
And let's not forget, he claimed he was a better performer than 80% of the WCW roster.
Nisar Kasturi Whale 3877. The dude booked himself and a celebrity to win their company's world title during a time where the company had its worst storylines ever and was dying fast. And if you've ever listened to every outrageous thing he's ever said since then, I don't think we need sources to prove how incompetent he is when it comes to the wrestling business.
Call to, yes, him being incompetent when he was the head writer from 97-99 for WWF, and his first stint as a writer in WCW increased their ratings by 1 point. Not to forget that TNA crossed 2 million viewers during his time as writer. But let's forget those things, right? Let's talk the time where WCW was deep into the mud with no signs of comeback. And Russo was not alone. Bischoff was with him during his second stint, and Bischoff agreed to have those storylines and matches out of desperation to catch a lightning in a bottle. Had Austin versus McMahon, Kane versus Taker, Rockin' Nod, Rockin' Corporation, Ministry of Darkness, Bret versus Shawn under him as head writer. Want to throw all the blame on him for bad things, then give all the credit to him for the good things. Take your head out of the IWC mud. Check out facts.
Nisar Kasturi Whale 3877. So you're saying he never had a single bad idea during any of his runs as a head writer or booker? Then right? Give me a break. You can't seriously think he, with the lack of both respect and experience he had, came up with all these great ideas on his own, when they would have had to be filtered through Vince, and he came up with a whole farce of a tournament solely because he didn't like Bradshaw and wanted to see him get beat up. Sure, viewership did increase in both WCW and TNA when he was writing, and he did do some good. But you can't possibly tell me at least some of the ideas he had weren't some of the worst things anyone's ever come up with. He spotlighted the mid-card talent in both, and he gave Booker T the main event spot he deserved in WCW. I respect him for doing that, but that's about all the praise I can give him. I don't agree with Jim Cornette on everything he says, but you can't tell me he isn't talking out of his ass when talking about Russo because he's worn a lot of hats in his career, and thus is way more qualified to criticize people whether he's right or wrong in doing so.
Colt 2002! Where did I say he didn't have bad ones? Your first few lines made my point. IWC likes to add Vince and other guys when there's something good to talk, but when it comes to bad things, Russo was the only criminal. Like the bad things did pass through the so-called filters. His good writing outweighed his bad ones, and that is evident by the ratings.
Nisar Kasturi Whale 3877. And what did one increase in WCW's ratings do for them? Sure, they weren't doing very well to begin with, but they could have turned it around to at least a passable degree and survived a little longer if they'd had anybody else with a modicum of respect for the business in his spot, even though they were already in the mud from getting their asses kicked by the WWF every week by then. Sure, someone had to have enough power to stop him from following through on the many bad choices he made. But my point still stands. You're forgetting that I also said he did well to spotlight the mid-card talent in both WCW and TNA, and he helped give Booker T the main event push he deserved. But where's the proof that he came up with all the good storylines in the Attitude Era? Are you just blindly believing everything he says, or supposed facts that you're using to try and sound smart? Being the head writer and/or booker of a show is a title. Yes, you're in charge of all the other writers, but good ideas can come from anybody on that team. Or even from the talent themselves. They don't only come from that person, especially when there's someone who I'm pretty sure never watched wrestling as a kid, and thus couldn't grasp why so many people in and out of it are so attached to it.
A Carpenter 7519. Who are these sources? Meltzer, Bischoff, and Ross Sapp. Dorian Carter 5829. Because he was. WCW's roster was full of jobbers. Colt 2002. You're a freaking mark, bro. Crying over fake wrestling crap from 25 years ago. SMH.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. Don't just gloss over the main event stars of WCW like Booker T. Goldberg, NWO, DDP, Ric Flair, Sting, and others.
Dorian Carter 5829. No point in arguing with people who actually agree with Russo and repeat everything he says because they hate wrestling like he does, and/or they forget that TV and movies altogether are fiction. And that the point of those existing is people being able to suspend their disbelief to be entertained, despite knowing they're not real. I just tried it, and I wasted my time doing so, because all they do is become Captain Obvious and tell you nothing you don't already know, like we're kids or something.
Colt 2. Yeah, I feel you on that. The problem with Russo is that he believes that nothing matters in the wrestling business, just only the TV ratings. And he was the one that begs Tony Khan for a job.
Which is exactly what I tried to say. We all know wrestling's fake, but the toll it takes on everyone in it very much isn't. And I've always felt Russo doesn't understand that. Yes, wrestling always needs compelling storylines, and I'll admit that he had some good ideas and always vouched for Talent T. That deserved a spotlight in his WCW and TNA runs, and that certainly helped in some ways. That much I'll give him, but he still can't seem to grasp that the reason so many people are such big wrestling fans is because they can put aside the obvious and be entertained by the efforts of the people who compete in the ring with the stories used as a backdrop to enhance the audience's enjoyment, rather than making it seem like the actual wrestling means nothing compared to the soap operas. Because being able to ignore the fact that it's staged and be invested in it trumps over everything in my books, like with every movie and TV show. And if someone can't do that, that's not our fault if they want to ruin the fun. I'm not gonna threaten him or anything like that. Like Cornette has done in the past, that's going way too far. And I'm sure he's not that bad of a guy overall. But if someone has claimed they were a better performer than 80% of the roster he was booking for, when they weren't even a wrestler, or over in any way for that matter, that's not gonna sit well with me. or anyone who's actually passionate about the business.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, watch that fake word.
Colt 2002. I would rather watch wrestling than The Bachelor because The Bachelor is fakest stuff on TV. Wrestling is about two guys or girls fighting over 10 pounds of gold that they could live proudly. Meanwhile, The Bachelor is some third string. Quarterback goes on a blind date with a flight attendant wearing all white riding horseback and hoping to get one rose from him. And that's realistic.
Inazia City Art Fake Championship won in a fake fight on a fake TV show.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. And you're not a Burger Queen or Dowdrop.
Dorian Carter 5829. I'm not glossing over them. Of course Russo wasn't better than them. That's why he said 80%, not 100%. By the way, you like Booker T? You know who you can thank for giving him his first main event push? Vince Russo. He wanted to push Booker to the moon. But he's an idiot, right? See, Inazia City Art. No shit. Colt 2002. If you think Russo doesn't understand the toll wrestling takes on wrestlers, you are clueless. Listen to his full career shoot when he talks about Undertaker laid out on the locker room floor in pain after his matches.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, an idiot for putting the WCW Championship on David Arquette. All for what ratings and for what for people didn't watch wrestling.
Dorian Carter 5829. You freaking marks in the Arquette thing. My God, give it a rest. Bunch of freaking marks. Russo just watched this on his channel and corrected everything that Rikishi and his Mark co-host got wrong. But of course, you marks won't go and listen to his show.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. Okay, forget Arquette. Russo is the same man who booked China winning the Intercontinental Championship, which is worse. Even he knew it was a bad idea, cause he left WWF after booking No Mercy 99.
Mark says what?
Ted Edwards, I-5709 Casual says what?
Inozia City Art, you sexist, bro.
Dorian Carter 5829. Same here. Yes, wrestling always needs good storylines, but trying to make everything a soap opera just isn't the answer. Because like you said, shows like The Bachelor are even faker than wrestling, even though people still find it entertaining. Jim Ross always says that the best stories in wrestling are the ones that are personal and based more in reality than anything. For example, Triple H and Shawn Michaels had one of the greatest feuds of all time because their friendship on and off camera was real. And those are usually the storylines people are most invested in, as just about everybody can relate to it in some way.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, or maybe she was the female Goldberg and sucked in the ring. Even he knew it was bad cause he dipped after booking the match.
Colt 2002. Exactly. I agree with everything you said. But the problem with people like Vince Russo is that he was trying to get people that didn't watch wrestling. And it's kinda like getting people who don't like watching golf. And it's gonna mess up with the people who watch golf.
Inazia City Art, bro, you're a freaking mark. Who cares how they are in the ring? It's about entertainment and who draws money. Have fun watching grown men play fight with each other, you bunch of marks.
Facts?
Bill Barnes, Cap Burger Queen Dowdrop, go read a book. That's literally the entertainment.
Inazia City Art. There's different forms of entertainment, bro. And late 90s WWF was the best entertainment on earth. Now you marks have turned it into a Comic-Con Virgin Fest with fake fights.
Burger Queen Dowdrop Attitude Era is overrated and mid-FR. And again, watch that fake word, dude.
In Nazi City Art, 80% of the Attitude Era was straight up garbage. We just love to overlook it because different times and culture, and because polls isn't mutually exclusive. Russo got trashed by Rikishi for talking shit about the grind his son Jay has put in 2024, and some MFS still pull the Ma Attitude Era. Yes, Russo had his pencil in the Attitude Era. He also got fired on the absolute peak of the same era because everybody was tired of his shit, and then became one of the driving forces of the decline of WCW and TNA. It's been 25 years. Let it rest.
Inazia City Art. The ratings definitely weren't overrated.
Edelweiss 1102. Exactly. The Ruthless Aggression Era. My favorite had better talent, better wrestling, better storylines, better everything than the Attitude Era. While the Attitude Era had China, who fucking sucked. Burger Queen Dowdrop. The product was, though, ratings were only high, 'cause Nitro was hot garbage.
The same guy who got the highest ratings in the history of two companies. WWE and TNA. I have heard Russo compliment Jay Uso as well.
Truth. Transistor Radio 6716. He also had WCW's ratings up by 1 million viewers before Hogan and Bischoff sabotaged his plans to push younger talent.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, very true. People blame Russo for the demise of WCW, but he never got to establish his vision. It took a year at WWE for him to get the ratings up with a boss that protected him from critics. He never really had that in WCW. Even in TNA, he had to work together with others and wasn't fully protected.
Truth Transistor Radio 6716. Yet he still got TNA up TP 2 million viewers on a lower tier network like Spike. That speaks volumes to Russo's greatness.
Semyaza555 doesn't know how to book? Russo booked the most successful era in wrestling, you mark. Shows you the delusion some fanboys here have. Every wrestler credits Russo as a genius. D Carpenter 7519. For every good one, he had 5 bad ones? Let's go ahead and name them, because the Attitude Era was filled with mostly good ones, and some bad ones. Russo is the best booker, and marks here are crying, thinking their Cornette does a better job when Cornette booked the lowest drawing era.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. If you want to watch something fake, go watch The Bachelor.
Why would I watch that crap?
You said you don't like to watch two guys or girls wrestle over 10 pounds of gold. Well, go watch a third-string quarterback goes on a blind date with a flight attendant wearing all white and riding horseback all day.
And Wolf for Life, here's 5 bad ideas for ya. 1. Himself winning the world title. 2. Constantly using pole match stipulations. 3. Pushing China, which he knew was a bad idea, because he left after booking No Mercy. 4. Sports Entertainment Extreme, SEX. 5. Constantly trying to recreate the Montreal Screwjob.
Side 4 doors. Okay, now I can go ahead and name good ones. Made The Rock, made Stone Cold, made Mankind, wrote every segment every main eventer had in 98 and 99, the 2 biggest periods of wrestling ever, and we can go on and on. Those are already a combined of 100 points.
And then Wolf for Life. Those 3 made themselves when Russo was still running the phone lines. What are you on about?
No, they didn't, LOL. Go watch all of them talk about Russo and what he did. He literally made Rock's character. You can sit in denial all you want.
Whoa, for Life, stop acting like Russo is the savior of wrestling. He isn't. He's the same guy that put Sable, the artist formerly known as Goldust, Tank Abbott, Oklahoma, China, Beaver Cleavage, Mae Young's Handchild on TV. Oh, and the Blue Blazer, which fucking killed Owen Hart.
Sci-4 Doors, and also doing this gang warfare like in WCW with the Millionaires Club versus the New Blood, and in TNA with the main event Mafia.
Dorian Carter 5829. He's literally the same as Eric Bischoff. If he had a good idea, he does nothing but rehash it over and over again.
In Otsia City Art, the NWO was the best idea that Bischoff did.
Say, Four Doors, no! But y'all keep forgetting the good he did and ignore he was a better writer than most Mark's favorites. Heyman or Cornette, there is no true savior of wrestling, but if anything, it would be Vince McMahon. That's an obvious one.
Yes, the man who stole his dad's company, paid to kill territories, raped women, let his employees rape little boys. He's the savior of wrestling, LMAO. Both Vinces are jokes.
The same that helped kill WCW.
Political jester 1454, not really. He just bought it after WCW failed on its own. Burger Queen, Dowdrop. You keep claiming that Russo made the ratings higher, but the highest Vince Russo WCW rating was 3.5 on 10/25/99. The highest rating the year prior, you guessed it, 5.1 from 3/16/98. Russo didn't make things much better. LMAO.
Inozia City Art, bro! You're talking about 98 when WCW was hot and kicking WWF's ass. What were WCW's ratings like the 3 months before Russo got there? Very different story, bro.
Burger Queen, Dowdrop, Nitro beat Raw. Only the first 3 months of 1998, the April 27th Raw, is when WWF started winning, and Nitro had a fucking 1.72 rating to Raw's 5.7 that week. Go read a book.
Bro! I don't know the exact dates of all this crap. I have more important shit to worry about. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. WCW was red hot in early 98. By late 99, it was going downhill. Like I asked, how were WCW's ratings in the summer of 99 compared to Russo's first 3 months?
Burger Queen, Dowdrop, Nitro. In summer of 99 to fall of 99 is the exact same. 2.6, 3.4 range. Again, Russo didn't do much to bolster the ratings. Truth Transistor Radio 6716. If Russo got TNA's ratings so high, then why did Spike threaten to drop TNA should they have rehired Vince and went through with their promise?
Inozia City Art. If that's true, what I gather is that there were people playing politics and telling TNA how bad Russo was. I recall that Eric Bischoff may have gotten a position as an advisor for TNA to give his analysis of the show. If Bischoff wanted Russo's job, what better way of doing it than day how terrible he is?
Truth. Transistor Radio 6716. Fair point. He could have been snaked, but I mean, they saw Russo's ideas the first run on TNA, Lockbox Challenge, Reverse Battle Royal, Last Rites. Yeah, that was Russo.
I give him credit for being original. Does it always work? No. But he was doing things during the Attitude Era that mostly worked and had never been done before. The Brawl for All was obviously not a good idea, but McMahon approved it.
Truth Transistor Radio 6716. Vince Russo, to me, is the Phil Jackson of pro wrestling. He was a product of his time that became stale and outdated as the years went on. Vince with Crash TV and Phil with Triangle Offense. There's no place for them in this current time and place. Yes, Vince had his ideas, and some of them did in fact work, but most of them were bad, and that's just that.
Burger Queen Dowdrop. How much is Russo paying you to stand for him? NWO for life. He made The Rock LMAO. The Rock found himself, cause the fans turned on Rocky Mavia. Paul Heyman helped Steve Austin in finding a character. Mick Foley was already a made man in the hardcore scene. Russo was just a man pushing a pencil with crappy Crash TV stories. DL Barnes ain't facts. Russo ain't coming to save you in this argument. To Deadwards 5709, you don't even know what a mark is, lil boy. You just regurgitate things you hear the oldies say. Vince Russo does not know you, bro. He ain't gonna come defend you.
Annuncia City Art stole his dad's company? He made wrestling into a mainstream phenomenon and expanded it the way his father never could. Funny how you want to mention IRL incidents that have nothing to do with what Vince did for the business. It's always the same with marks. Let me guess, you're one of those that think HHH is doing a better job. While the business currently is struggling to even gain 2 million viewership, Scammaster Francis 4293. Go watch Rock's documentary. Vince Russo told him how to behave, to talk in third person, etc., etc. The wrestlers didn't do it themselves. Keep dreaming. You marks literally think you know more than the actual wrestlers telling you how it is, LOL. Heyman didn't do anything. Heyman created Sandman, who Vince also got the idea from. Plus, Russo writing the segments for Austin.
Ratings aren't low due to product. They're low due to streaming. This isn't 1996, dude.
And woe for life? Again? You go with the word mark. Tell me, son. What do you think mark means? Because it's stupid using a word you don't know the meaning of. Just to show how hardcore a carny you are.
Annuncia City Art, LOL no! If you actually knew how to do research, if we include streaming and whatnot, 38.3% of WWE's consumers, which you can see in Nielsen, which is documented for ratings, it would still only end up to 5 mil up. Nothing compared to the AE. You're just in denial, cause Vince had to do like 20 deals to still make money off the product, cause it was going so low. WWE made the most money in 1999 and 2000, that also being their peak of popularity ever. Scammaster Francis 4293. It means somebody who still acts like the product is real, but knows it isn't. And also somebody who thinks he knows what's going on in the business, using inside terms. How many others like Nash, HHH, Hogan, etc. have used it? And you're one, because you still believe Rock magically just made his own character when he literally himself said Russo was the biggest part. Annuncia City Art BTW cable makes up 30.2%. Everything you can find with research, there's your big difference. People really think nobody watches TV anymore?
And you're one cause you think the ratings still matter, El Mao. It isn't that serious, bud. They really don't watch TV much anymore. That's a fact. And if they do, they're not watching 2-3 hours of Monday Night Raw.
And woe for life good? Your IQ isn't as bad as your profile led me to believe. Good for you! If Rock gives credit to Vince Russo, it's likely for giving him confidence in the Rocky Mavia phase. Cause The Rock is truly just a slight extension of who Dwayne Johnson actually is. Watch his movies, he's just playing The Rock over and over again. And to the end of the day, we're all marks. Then cause we know wrestling is fake, but keep the suspense up. It's entertainment. It's to suspend our beliefs, buddy boy.
Annuncia City Art, huh? You made an argument that he stole his father's company, and I made a counter. This guy I just told you the facts backed up. You can say they don't, but I showed you the gap between streaming and cable not being that huge. Scammaster Francis 4293, hilarious! Bro, your IQ so low, haha! Your PFP really fits that comment. I watched his movies, and no, it's not even close. In wrestling, he brings way more personality into it. He seems to generally just be a better wrestler than actor TBH LOL. Look, IDC, if you like Russo, I don't care about Russo either, but it is documented that he told Rock how to act and dress, especially with the third-person shtick and everything. Russo did a lot of bad, but to deny the many good is just denial in my eyes. But you do you. Well, only in one aspect. Marks also complain and act like they know the ins and outs. Follow everything Meltzer says too, for example. Me, for example, I go only by what wrestlers themselves told us in interviews, or people who worked with WWE.
It's also documented that Russo is a liar, just like Hogan. The guy gets mad if you bring up on a pole matches, like he wasn't the one using them. In Nazi City Art TBF, Vince Jr. Moreso made his own company Titan Sports and bought Capital Wrestling from his dad and merged the two.
Scam Master Francis 4293. Maybe I misread into that LOL, but watch the fake word. It's scripted or a work. NWO for life. Okay, cool. You know the percentages of who watches TV. Real smart knowledge here. Not like ratings are gonna matter when Raw leaves cable for Netflix anyway.
Scam Master Francis 4293. Russo might be. That's irrelevant because I didn't talk about what Russo said. I talked about what many others said about him. In Nazi City Art. How is that smart knowledge LOL? It's just knowing what websites document WWE statistics. Anybody can really gain that knowledge, TBH. And yeah, Netflix will definitely change things up.
Anyone can gain the knowledge. Nobody but smarks care to. Nobody cares about ratings. I only talked about then, cause Burger Queen decided they were important, and I proved them wrong there. Showing them how Nitro's ratings weren't that good compared to Raw. Regardless, Raw was just a worse product.
Nobody but Smarks cares to. That's an ignorant claim to make. But sure, you're the one who tagged me talking about it, LOL. I care about ratings because I find it interesting to see what wrestler actually was the most popular. It did help me understand finances and ratings better though. Pretty useful. Nitro's ratings we can go over too. Nitro was huge and bigger than anything that isn't WWE in 1999.
Nitro started losing April '98, and again, as I've stated before, Nitro's ratings weren't that great. People treat Nitro as if it was a 6-7 rating show when it's a consistent 2-4, and that's okay, but they only cracked 6 once, and that's it.
You clearly don't even know that Hogan vs. Goldberg did a 7 rating LOL. Granted, it was for free. Nitro was not consistently a 2 or 4. They have multiple segments doing 6s, 7s, and 5s. Don't make me pull up numbers again on you, brother. Downplaying Nitro like that is crazy when NWO was bigger than anything in the Attitude Era. And yeah, WWE been losing for 2 years. Nitro's boom began in '96. WWE lost annually millions due to Nitro, and after April, WCW had still won some rating wars, actually. Do we want to compare? Why are you spreading misinformation, brother? WWE won by April, but they weren't undefeated. WCW still bested them in some, as stated above with Hogan versus Goldberg, with Wolfpack versus NWO, etc., etc. I can gladly get the comparisons if you want.
My God, it's been 2 weeks. Are you clowns still going on over this fake crap? You all need jobs and girlfriends. Bunch of freaking marks.
Whoa, for life. My guy, I've had the ratings pulled up the whole time. Where do you think I'm reading from? Burger Queen Dowdrop says the one who decided to start this mess and stand for Vince Russo LMAO. And why is it so hard for you people to not use the word fake? Every little bit of television is fake except for even the news. But calling that fake is nonsensical. Oh, I'm not gonna watch SpongeBob because it's fake. You know Breaking Bad is fake? It's nonsensical.
Burger Queen Dowdrop says the guy named Burger Queen PLS Bruv. Didn't you talk above with guys for 2 weeks? I just came here like 3 days ago and have been discussing here. Annuncia City Art. Then you would have known that Nitro did even 7s. As I said, people need to take in quarter hours as well. It shows how high a segmented match can peak, not just the rating for the whole show.
NWO for life. Bro, I'm just referring to the people who have like 30 replies on here over 2 weeks. It's pathetic.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, you have 49 replies in this thread. But okay.
Burger Queen Dowdrop 8, I guess. But leaving YT comments, TBH, doesn't even but I do agree that people shouldn't have an argument for over 2 weeks. That's too much. Nobody cares to do all that.
NWO for life, bro. I checked fandom, and then the wiki, bro. And bro, the highest Nitro did, bro, was a 6 on 8/31/98. Bro, where are you pulling a 7 from, bro?
Check what Goldberg versus DDP did. It did a 7.1. Goldberg versus Hogan did huge as well. WWE also only got 7s in '99 when WCW started to become a shadow of what it once was. Also, Goldberg was beating Austin as a draw in '98. That's also documented.
Bro, you're asking for match to segment rating when they don't account for those, bro. Sure, a single segment can do great and a piss poor show, bro. But bro, the 4/19/99 Nitro, which contains DDP versus Oldberg, fueled a 4.1, bro.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, you can't just participate and claim the threat is pathetic when you're 1 away from 50 here and NWO for life true. And then WCW crapped the bed and barely booked their world champion. Probably cause they realized Goldberg should be an attraction wrestler cause he sucked. And Nazi City Art, enough about the ratings. We get it. Vince neither helped or harmed the ratings. The fact is this, Vince did some good and a lot of bad. He is a well-intentioned quack. Yes, he believed in the Booker T's and the Jeff Jarrett's of the world. But he also believed in the Black Reigns and Chynas, even as to go so far to find a horrible wrestler, Asya, to rip the gimmick of the original horrible wrestler.
NWO for life. Exactly, bro. It's a TV show about grown men having fake fights in their underwear. It's not important world shit worth getting worked up over. Scam Master Francis 4293. They told me there was a prize when I got to 50.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, your favorite show, whatever it is fake. Literally, every piece of entertainment is fake. So you calling out wrestling is regarded with a T. Your prize is a book. Go read it, Carney. If you have such a disdain for pro wrestling, then why are you here in the first place? Somebody please give Roronoa Zorro over here a map. He lost ASL.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, your prize is forever being linked to arguing with us if it isn't worth getting worked up over. Why didn't you quit after your initial response? Wrestling is millions of people's favorite pastime, and they'll defend it heart, blood, and soul. Nobody truly cares for your opinion.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, true. LMAO, Scam Master Francis 4293. Goldberg was always green. Nash got cheered over Goldberg in 1998 already. Announce City Art, bro. That's literally why I said you need to take quarter-hour ratings into consideration. They specifically show you peaks and peak interest of wrestler or segment. Overall rating for whole show doesn't.
NWO for life, bro. The overall rating is what matters, bro. That's what the Monday Night Wars analysts and archivers list. Bro, they don't care about segment ratings, bro. Frivolous and unnecessary.
Announce City Art. Unnecessary to people who don't pay attention to detail. Whole rating will never get you the actual numbers and truth. I really don't care what WWE takes. I care about what the numbers show and what I take. I take everything. BTW, I'm just saying, you can use whole rating. Me using quarter hours isn't wrong. It's more detailed than your observation NGL. No offense, bro.
I have never seen any official stat tracker or analyst talk about quarter hours or segment ratings. If that's what you follow, cool. But the industry doesn't cover that when discussing the war. Only the final rating is what they mention. That's the way it is. I don't make the rules, bro.
Colt 2002 this. This right here is why we don't like Russo. If it's a major feud like HHH and Michaels as you exampled, then the soap opera feel is perfectly fine. But Russo trying that feel for the mid-carders and jobbers just didn't work. I commend Vince for his want for everyone on the roster to have something to do, but that is the reason his writing was so bad. Running a wrestling show is like running a long season series like The Sopranos. You're bound to have hit after hit, but then you're gonna have a few stinkers along the way. Russo may have hit a few slam dunks, but he airballed tons and tons along the way.
Imagine wasting your time arguing over Vince Russo. Couldn't be me now. NWO_4Life. Who the heck will use his quarter hours? I've never seen wrestling with Reject, Wrestling Bios, WrestleMania, The Great Tone, Marquee 123, Christian Miracle, What Culture. None of them discuss quarter hours or segment ratings. Burger Crook and Dowdrop, you started the argument. You can't say everyone else needs a job and a spouse may enjoy being alone with your cats.
Dragon Trigger C2P, they don't even discuss ratings. Go check actual ratings channels like Rock 316AE or NWO Wolfpack TV.
NWO_4Life don't know about the others, but Wrestling Bios literally does a show called Reliving the War. So he talks about the ratings, so yeah.
NWO_4Life, but they all point the demise of WCW on Vince Russo like any sane person would.
Mr. Castuliwell 3877, and you assume that increasing viewership is due to Russell. It couldn't possibly be the talent or the fact that the fan base was already steadily increasing at the time. Well, get Queen Dotop stop being a backpet, because it's a really good point and it doesn't fit my narrative, so you're A-marked for bringing it up. How old are you? Max, you probably still refer to people as sheep in 2024.
Dragon Trigger C2P Lamia, Great One, and What Culture Don't, and the channels I listed do it way more detailed. Inazia City Art, why are you tagging me with this? WCW killed itself too already. Plus, Whoa Wolfpack TV goes over why you can't blame Russo for all of it. That is just ignorant to do NGL.
NWO_4Life, well, you're talking to a guy who has never heard of that channel in his life for starters, but forget YouTubers. Bischoff points the finger at Russo, Hogan, Joe, Goldberg, even Stephanie doesn't like Russo. Do you understand how unlikable you have to be to get Stephanie to dislike you, when she's been notarized as one of the nicest people in wrestling? Nadja Alexander, exactly. They act like giving the strap to Arquette just to promote their crappy movie Ready to Rumble was such a groundbreaking idea, but would be crapping all over WWE if they put the WWF Championship on Tiny Lister Zeus to promote No Holds Barred.
Inozia City Art, okay? Rock likes Russo, Austin does, Taker does, etc. Again, this is just useless blabbering because most credited Russo and said how he made the biggest era for WWE, along with Vince and the wrestlers. Stephanie literally had problems with Heyman as well, LOL. It's irrelevant. That doesn't discredit what somebody did.
NWO_4Life, great. A small minority like Russo, this isn't useless babbling. I am trying to get you to accept that you are wrong. And the majority discredits Russo as a booker, writer, wrestling mind, and sure as hell has no greatness. And the man is very unprofessional. Look at Bash at the Beach 00. Sure, the rant was entertaining, but Hogan and Bischoff were not aware of his failure to stay on script and sued him at WCW. Yes, he pushed the younger talent over the established names, but tell me, was Billy Kidman, Disco Inferno, Alex Wright, Demon Dale Torborg, Misfits in Action, Tank Abbott really worthy of the TV time they ate up? The man brought past his prime, out of shape Ahmed Johnson in WCW, and called him Big T for Christ's sake.
NWO_4Life Russo really isn't as good as he says he is. Rocky is just probably trying to be nice. The man was beat friends with Logan Paul once until the Forest incident. So what does that tell us about Dwayne? And the guy kept Punk under from 11 to 13. Please stop talking about Rock. He's not a saint himself either. Nisarka Struel 38707777. He gets negativity cause he's always saying dumb things like he's better than 80% of WCW's roster.
Bro, you clowns are seriously still going? Seek help, all of you.
Burger Condell Drop, nobody talked for 3 days? This is just you trying to bait us to restart the argument. Now I see right through you.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, aw shit, here we go again.
Dragon Trigger C2P, bro. You really think I'm gonna scroll through all this crap to see when the last post was? I just came back after a week and saw there was like 40 more replies since I last checked.
Burger Kern Dowdrop, you proved Dragon right then. Cause you scrolled down 162 comments to post this one LMAO.
I Nazi Astitart, bro. I just clicked reply on your original comment. You don't need to reply to the latest post.
Burger Queen Dowdrop, thank you, Burger Queen. Very cool.
Hey, Burger Queen Dowdrop, that's sad and all, bro, but let me play for you a song on the world's smallest violin. Oh, wait. Oh wait, I broke it. Stop replying if you're gonna keep complaining about this thread, which was dead before you reignited the flames, bro.
Same one who made a big deal about Booker T. Hogan and the world title at Bash at the Beach 2000?
I'm Rudy C85, yep, the man who played a significant role in killing WCW.